Alright, so we've got exponential functions, right? That's our topic. So what are exponentials? So if you recall from some of the previous classes, anything that is like this is an exponent, right? So we'll use functions where the x is the exponent. So for example, if I had y is equal to 2 to the power x, right? Now again, use your graph or Desmos to get your graphical representation and also the table. So we are doing the same thing over and over again. If you notice, we've been doing this for months now, how to plot a graph, how to use Desmos, how to get our table. So if we were to plot this graph, let's say if I take values for x as 0, 1, 2, 3, 2 to the power 0 is 1, 2 to the power 1 is 1, 2 to the power 2 is 4, 2 to the power 3 is 8. And how would you solve this on your calculator? If you look at your calculator, you see a division sign, and above it you'll get the exponent sign, this caret. That is your exponent sign. So on the calculator you'll do 2 caret 3 and you'll get 2 cubed, okay, which is it. Now if we were to plot this, so at 0 it's 1, which will be right here. At 1 it's 2, at 2 it's 4, at 3 it's 8. Again, Desmos and your calculator, it makes it so easy. So you'll get a graph like this. This is called an exponential graph. Where is this applied? It's applied in interest, compound interest, coronavirus right now. You'll see a lot of people demonstrating this graph in exponential. Then the decay is in nuclear bombs, etc. Your medication, like the half-life of the medication. That's why doctors will recommend, hey, do this medication for an extra 10 days before we stop the medication. So half-life. So some things are decaying, some things are growing. So if something's growing, then you'll get a graph like this. So this is exponential growth. Something's growing, right? If you have exponential decay, then the graph will be like this. So the two type of graphs that will be helpful. So decay and growth. Okay, so we'll talk about different factors, different formula. So in the case that we just worked a little while ago, we found out this curve. So we'll use the curve, right? So we had it start at 1, and then at 1 it was 2, and then at 2 it was 4, and so on. So you add a few values. So this is y, this is x, right? So now we know at 0 it's 1. At 1 it's 2, and at 2 it's 4. So whenever they ask you, hey, find an exponential equation or a model or what is the function, always use this. Y is equal to ab to the power x. And you're trying to find out the values of a and b respectively. So let's plug in any pair of coordinates. So if I put 0 over here and 1 over here, this equation becomes a times b to the power 0. Now b to the power 0 is always 1. So what's the value of a in this? A becomes 1, right? So we got one part of our value. We just need the value of y. So take any other pair of coordinates. So there will be questions related to this, so be careful. Remember this procedure and you'll be able to navigate through it. So when y is 2, x is 1, right? And we just found a to be 1. So let's plug that in over here. So we get 1 times b to the power 1, right? So b solves to become 2. So now we got a and b. Let's plug it over here. So what does our equation eventually become? Y is equal to 1 times 2 to the power x. And if you recall from the first part of the video, we started an equation 2 to the power x, right? We are getting the same answer. So there will be questions to find the exponential model or exponential function. So that's how we'll determine that. Okay. Then we'll do two other concepts, and then that will wrap up our lecture video. Okay, compound interest. If you ever have the money and you invest money in a bank, this is how your investments would work. Compound interest. So what happens is that they give you a percentage profit, and then they use that percentage profit to give you more profits. Okay, so compound interest is actually a good deal. So let's say if you start out with $1,000, right? And then they're giving you, let's say, 10% on this every year, compounded. Right, so compounded interest. So you invest 1,000, the next year you'll have 1,000 plus 10% of 1,000.